Marvel has an oversaturation problem. And yes, I know people have been saying this for years, but in 2022 this is more apparent than ever. The first sign of trouble was in 2019 when Phase 4 was announced. A majority of the projects in Phase 4 were covering some more obscure and otherwise confusing choices for mainline MCU content. For example, we got Shang-Chi, a character no one but hardcore comic fans knew, and the Eternals. One movie slapped, the other didn't. Then we also had a show for a beloved character Loki, but oopsie, we just killed him off, so time to retread his character arc in half the time, and who could forget the Black Widow solo film that came, like 5 years too late? Let's just say there were some odd choices on Marvel's behalf when it came to MCU projects in Phase 4. Now don't get me wrong, I love superheroes. I am one of those die-hard fans that watches every single Marvel or DC movie, even if it sucks, just so I can say I've seen it all. So I'm willing to put in the time. But see now, I am in a minority group here. A lot of the audience of Marvel are casual moviegoers just looking for an excuse to go to the cinema. But now with all of these Disney Plus shows tying into the mainline franchise, Disney is hiding their content through a subscription paywall that quite frankly casual fans won't care to invest the time or money into. The amount of hours of content for Marvel projects in Phase 4 equates to over double of the entire Phase 1 to 3 of the MCU, spanning over 11 years, in just under 2 years. That's insane. The total number of hours of MCU content is now around 99 hours. That would take you 4 days straight with no breaks to get through the whole thing. And that's not even counting the Netflix shows like Daredevil. Before, during phases 1 to 3, you could call up a friend, ask, "Hey, you want to come to the cinema and see the new Marvel movie with me? It's Avengers, huh? What do you say?" "Yeah, sure, I'm not really into all the superhero stuff, but I'll just join to hang out." And boom, the movie made sense, was somewhat enjoyable, even as someone just going in casually. But now in Phase 4, suddenly your friend calls you up. "Hey, wanna come see the new Doctor Strange movie?" "Yeah, sure, why not? I remember Avengers, he was cool in that." "Okay, great. First you need to watch Doctor Strange because you have to know his origin story. Then of course you need to see Avengers Infinity War. You already have? That's great, good job. You didn't see Endgame? Everyone saw Endgame. You're coming over to mine tonight to watch Endgame. Then we gotta see Spider-Man No Way Home because of course Doctor Strange's character arc in Multiverse of Madness cannot be truly appreciated without seeing his growth from that film. And Wanda has her own show on Disney Plus which we gotta watch together, or at least the recap of on YouTube. And you know, now that I think about it, have you seen Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movies? They're classics because No Way Home can't be appreciated without seeing them. And of course you gotta see at least the first X-Men movie because Patrick Stewart, Professor X! I'm sorry, I got a little carried away there. So anyway, jokes aside, I am by no means saying the newer MCU movies cannot be enjoyed by everyone, but it is a bit scummy and ludicrous to expect everyone who sees your next Marvel movie in theaters to have seen the Disney Plus spin-off show beforehand. Of course, die-hard fans such as myself will have already seen it, but that's not the issue here. Marvel, in their crusade to create an ever-expanding universe with a hero roster bigger than my student debt, are in turn alienating half their fanbase who simply don't want to do homework to enjoy the latest blockbuster movie. It is seriously getting to the point where you need the equivalent of a college degree to fully watch and understand everything there is to be had in the MCU. In fact, it is some people's jobs here on YouTube to simply explain the timeline of this franchise. That's how in-depth, complex, and ludicrous this has become. The franchise is almost emulating the comics at this point with how complex it is. But of course, Marvel just announced their plans for Phase 5 and 6, so did they learn their lesson after the criticism of Phase 4? No. No, not at all. When I look at this lineup, I'm quite honestly not all too excited for many of these projects, which is a shame. The only project I can say I am genuinely excited and eager to see are Blade and Daredevil. The rest I will obviously watch as a die-hard Marvel stan, but I can't say I have high expectations for many of these. I mean, was anyone really asking for an Agatha spin-off series? She was the worst part of WandaVision, and seeing the whole show around her makes as much sense to me as that Star Wars Cassian Andor show. Who? Even some of the most die-hard fans I know can't even tell me this guy's name, let alone the average moviegoer. However, I will say I'm excited to see the Fantastic Four back on the big screen, and the Secret Wars event is certainly exciting to see. Maybe we'll finally get a live-action Miles Morales. However, again, we can clearly see that Marvel is building towards Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, as they just announced. However, Kang was established in the Loki spin-off series on Disney+, which means if you haven't seen that series, then essentially the rest of the MCU building up between phases 4 and 6, the final crossover event of the saga, won't make any sense if you don't have Disney Plus and would have watched the Loki spin-off show at the very least, which is just not okay. Marvel is trying to cram too many projects in too little time. When we finally get to Avengers: Secret Wars and see an Incursions scale event crossover with Moon Knight, Deadpool, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Avengers, Spider-Man, Ant-Man, Nick Furies, it's gonna be way too difficult for anyone but die-hard fans who did their Marvel homework to really appreciate or enjoy it. Everyone else is just gonna be confused, which isn't good for anyone. I certainly hope all of these projects will be as good as they possibly can be, but with the track record of Phase 4 so far with an average to mediocre response from fans, we can most certainly expect Marvel will need to seriously reconsider their plans if they aim to surpass the bar set by Infinity War. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you made it this far, maybe consider subscribing. I appreciate the support on the last couple videos, especially since my channel is so small. So again, yeah, if you made it this far, any support is truly appreciated. Thank you very much. See you in the next one.